Ms. Callahan, I understand you are suing your pharmacist
Yes.
because he refused to fill a prescription for the morning after pill?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And you're suing him for $380.51.
Yes.
Okay. Explain, please.
So I was having protected sex when the condom broke. I was put in a horrible situation. I was doing everything I possibly could to make sure that this situation did not happen. When I called my doctor, they wrote me a prescription, and when I went to the pharmacy, he told me that he refused to fill it for me. At first I thought maybe there's a shortage or maybe he doesn't have it in stock right now. But he informed me that he did have it in stock, but I would either have to wait multiple days for him for another pharmacist to come in to fill the prescription, but he refused to fill it for me.
Okay.
I then started to get upset, asked him what he expected me to do. I needed this medication. I have endometriosis. I cannot get pregnant, or I am at risk of having an ectopic pregnancy, and he's basically handing me down a death sentence by refusing this medication for me.
Okay.
I don't understand how this could even possibly be legal.
Mr. Hart, she came as a patient. Had she been there before to your pharmacy? Have you ever filled a prescription for her before?
Well, that's what got me, upset, because there's a history in the system when I looked up her name of her getting this prescription drug for a supposedly emergency situation. So it hasn't happened once. It shows a clear pattern of loose behavior.
How many times had this happened?
At least 15.
Whoa. 15 times?
Yes, and that's what, I just was absolutely
But
taken
it's
aback.
not your, personally you could judge, but as a pharmacist, it's not your position to judge loose behavior. It's your prescription to either fill a prescription or not.
That's
right?
correct.
So you looked up her name and her past history, and you saw that this prescription had been filled on numerous
times, yes.
And based on that, you decided you did not want to fill the prescription.
No, I'm against this pill because I'm against abortion. I don't believe in taking an innocent life.
Okay.
Now, the pattern of behavior is what disturbed
me. The morning after is not used for abortion. It's used to prevent.
It's not. It's meant to prevent. Yes, correct.
Okay. But you did not want to fill it because you felt.
Because I disagree with.
Have you ever filled the prescription? Then who filled the prescription on those 15 times for her?
Well, another pharmacist that is employed by me.
Okay, and that pharmacist was not in that day?
Correct, and I gave her the option. He was going to be working in 2 days.
And you couldn't wait for 2 days because?
Because it would have been ineffective at that time. Okay. I needed to take it within 72 hours.
And you had used this 15 times before? Is he exaggerating, or that many times?
I don't know the exact number, but I need to take this medication. I cannot get pregnant.
I understand that, but that's a lot of times.
May I also say that I did not turn her away. I could have. I could have just said, I'm sorry, I'm not going to fill the prescription, and send her on her way. But what I did is, when she turned me down for the other pharmacist who was going to work in 2 days, I made the offer to reach out to other pharmacies to find out which pharmacy had the drug and which pharmacy would fill the prescription. And it turned out that the pharmacy that I found was 70 odd miles away. That's not my doing. It was the first one that had the right criteria.
Okay.
And so I gave her the information, and she clearly did get the prescription filled because she's not pregnant.
Okay. So how long did it take you to find a pharmacy that would fill the prescription in the local area?
It took like 15 minutes out of my day, and we were very, very busy that day.
Okay.
And on top of that, she got very combative, and she was screaming at me, and it was a busy, busy day, lots of customers. It was very stressful, honestly.
So many of you have requested this video from me, and thank you so much. It is a very interesting case, but this is a word of caution. If you are easily offended by the truth, or the Bible. Now it's your cue to scroll up. Endometriosis doesn't mean a death sentence to a woman if she gets pregnant. Although endometriosis can cause complications during pregnancy, but there is absolutely nothing that any high-risk OBGYN cannot handle. And complications can happen even if you don't have endometriosis, and I know so many of us have experienced that. At the same time, so many women with endometriosis have experienced healthy pregnancy to term. So her way of blackmailing this pharmacist into giving her the pill is unacceptable, and anyone with a medical degree would know the truth. The second thing I want to bring up is the morning after pill, and I had to Google it. She claims that it's only effective within 72 hours. Not true. It's actually effective up to 5 days. And let me get the math straight because it's not mathing for me right now. So she had an accident and she claims, I believe she said the next day, to the pharmacy. And the pharmacist offered to her to wait for 2 more days for the other pharmacist to come who would be able to fulfill her prescription, which will put us exactly at the 72-hour mark. So I don't understand what the problem was for her to simply wait for a few days, and whatever decisions she made to go 70 plus miles to the other pharmacy is completely on her. And let's start with the obvious. 15 times? Really? 15 times? I have a big problem with this. I feel like a monkey in a lab learns faster than that. You need one time to step on a rake, to be hit in the forehead, to understand that it's a bad idea. You won't do it twice, or especially 15 more times to make sure it's actually going to work exactly the same way. You already know the end result. So it's a new kind of stupid, or I don't know what it is. According to her, she can lose her life if she gets pregnant. So are you suicidal then? Is that what you're trying to prove? Or you just want to go make poor choices with your life and make it someone else's problem? Is that what we're experiencing here? I honestly don't understand how many times one could make the same mistake over and over again and never learn anything from it. There are so many more permanent solutions to this issue that could have been implemented in her life a long time ago and prevent this whole thing from happening. But no, she doesn't want it. She doesn't want it an easy way. She wants to maintain her lifestyle 15 times. 15. Let's go back.
So you found somebody for her.
I
Took
did.
the time to find somebody for her about 70 miles away.
Yes.
What did you do, Ms. Callahan?
I then had to drive the 72 miles away, and while I was there, I got stuck. There was a storm front that rolled in, and so I had to buy a hotel room, had to stay there overnight. I missed out on a day of work. I work as a teacher. My students missed out on a day of me being there, helping them, teaching them.
Okay, so that's the $380.
Yes.
Oh, you're suing for. Okay. Okay, Mr. Hart. So, as many may not agree with your decision, can you explain to me what legal grounds you have to make such decisions? I know, but please explain to me what those legal grounds are.
Of course, Your Honor. It's my business. I've owned this business for 35 years, and I'm in business to help people with legitimate medical issues, with health issues. And as far as I'm concerned, because I'm the business owner, I am allowed that right.
Okay. All
And
right.
it's against my moral grounds to fill that
understand.
prescription.
All right. But I also understand that in your state you're protected by state law for refusing to fill a prescription.
That is correct.
And you don't even have the obligation to find suitable accommodations. You
No.
could just say, I'm not gonna fill it, period.
I
right?
could have just sent her packing.
Do you often refuse other prescriptions for other patients? Do you do that? Is that something that's normal for you?
No.
Okay. Do you do it once a month, twice a month, once a year?
It happens every now and then. It's nothing regular. I wouldn't say it's monthly. I wouldn't say there's any regularity to it, but it has
But you
happened
have done
in
it before.
Correct.
Okay. All right. For similar type drugs or for other?
Only that specific drug.
All right. Okay. So, Ms. Callahan, do you understand what I just said about state law?
Yes.
And about his right of refusal? Mm-hmm. He has the right to refuse service?
Yes.
Like at a restaurant, I have the right to refuse service to anybody I want. Any type of legal professional or business, they have a right to refuse service to certain people. It's just they have a right to do that. And under your state, there's law that protects pharmacists from refusing to fill a prescription based on moral or religious grounds. So there's nothing I can do about that.
Oh, don't feel sorry, Judge. I'm actually so happy that it did happen in the state when any business owner can refuse service based on moral and religious grounds. The plaintiff keeps saying that her pregnancy was a health issue. No, sweetheart, pregnancy is not a health issue. Pregnancy is a blessing. And you passed on 15 of them. And what bugs my mind is she keeps making it someone else's problem. She feels like her driving 70 plus miles away to a different pharmacy, getting caught in a snowstorm, having to miss a day of work is the pharmacist's problem because he refused to fulfill her prescription. Bear with me, guys. I somehow feel like it's not his problem. She's the one causing the situation in her life. If she thought ahead and used preventative measures, that this situation would have never happened. She would have never missed a day of work. She wouldn't have had to drive a long distance to get her prescription fulfilled. So stop making it someone else's problem and take full responsibility for your actions. Let's go back.
As harsh as it seems, there's nothing I can do about that. So I don't know if you knew that before you did this lawsuit, before you actually went forward for this lawsuit. And I understand for you is more principle than anything because I'm sure it cost you more than $380 to file the claim and get here and miss work, etc. So I understand the purpose of your suit, but he's protected under the law.
This is just ridiculous. He cast this judgment on people, and he's supposed to be helping people with their health. I have health problems, and he's refusing to help me with my health.
But he has a right to do that. Under the law, he did nothing wrong. I can't overturn the law. Emotions, personal opinions don't matter when it's the law. When it's written in black and white, that is the law.
And there's a lack of, I'm sorry, Your Honor, there's a lack of personal responsibility here because she knows that she has a medical condition.
Well, listen, I'll draw the line there because that's none of your business.
Okay.
You have the right to refuse whatever the heck you want. But judging on her lack of responsibility, just keep that to yourself because it's completely irrelevant, right? So don't pass judgment, just like I'm not passing judgment on you, or I'm passing judgment on Ms. Callahan. As a woman, yes, of course, I wish you would be more careful. I understand the situation you're in. If you know you have an issue where you should not get pregnant, then maybe try to find another permanent way. Because is taking the morning after pill, is there a risk to yourself? Is there a risk to your body using it so many times? I don't know these questions. These are things that are just popping in my mind. They have nothing to do with the legality of the case. But what I'm telling you is that based on the law in your state, Mr. Hart, as a pharmacist, is protected under the law to refuse to fill a prescription based on moral or religious grounds, period. And he didn't even have the responsibility to try to find another pharmacist to do it, but he actually did. 70 miles away, but you knew you had to do that. So for me to turn around and grant your claim would be improper under the law because he did everything he did. He had a right to do it. So the costs you incurred were out of your own volition to go to the other pharmacist. Okay?
Okay.
So based on that, I will refuse your claim for $380.51. All right? Good luck, Ms. Callahan. Please be careful next time.
There's a war on women in this country, and it needs to be stopped.
The law is the law, and I believe what I believe, and the law protects my belief.
I'm glad it worked out for the pharmacist the way it did. And although I did get the feeling from the judge that she was very judgmental towards this pharmacist, but she couldn't do anything about it. Do you know what this case reminded me of? If you remember years ago, there was a gay couple who decided to go to Christian bakery, out of all places, to get their wedding cake baked. And it was all over the news. If you remember, there was a big scandal. There was a discrimination case filed against the Christian bakery. But what they failed to mention was they wanted that cake to be shaped as a male genitalia. So this case also reminded me of the bakery case because it feels like she filed this lawsuit not because she felt she was wronged, but because she wanted to teach him a lesson. We all know in our hearts, in our souls, that when we do something wrong, we know when we do it. You almost feel sick to your stomach. And in a highly moral society, that's usually the case, that we learn from our mistakes. We remember that feeling and we never want to feel it ever again. But to me, it feels like this lady did not learn her lesson. She was raised like she is a gift to this world and she could do no wrong. So she doesn't take any responsibility and makes her problem everybody else's problems. And by the way, the bakery won the lawsuit. What did you guys think about this case? Please put it in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching and God bless.